Hello and welcome to the first episode of Pumpkin Guts, where we spill our guts on everything in horror and Halloween. I'm Ryan.
I'm Janae.
And I'm Nick.
And this is kind of a test run of this show that we wanted to do. We live in Orlando, Florida, so we wanted to hop on here and talk about all of the spooky happenings that happen around Orlando, but specifically Halloween Horror Nights.
I mean, the stuff we talk about anyways, so.
Yes, and, if you're seeing this on the Southridge Films YouTube channel, which means that you probably are aware that we are also horror filmmakers, and we have created a feature film that's coming out September 5th. And Janae, what's the name of that movie?
The Pumpkin Man.
The Pumpkin Man. Look at that. That's merchandise that you can buy right now.
I should have worn a shirt.
Yeah, what do you do? Well, I mean, I'm not.
You're the director.
Yeah.
Well, you wore the hat.
I did.
You did. So I'm just failing on all
Ryan
fronts.
never represents.
Just.
How can you even call yourself the director?
You're just the worst.
I represent the most because I am the Pumpkin Man. Okay.
So you have to put on the mask. Where's the mask? Oh, sorry.
It's right there. Yeah, that's the mask. So
It's not in the frame.
yeah, I see that now. So I think for this first episode, we're going to keep it very chill, very, very cool. And I think we're just going to talk about, kind of introduce ourselves and our experiences with Halloween and haunted houses and stuff like that. And there's a very specific way that we wanted to set up this show where each one of us is at a different level of like horror Halloween fandom.
That's true.
And Nick, you're the one that kind of came up with this, so go ahead and be the one to.
It kind of works out. Like, I would say, as far as like haunts and haunted houses and mazes, Ryan has probably have the most experience out of all three of us. Safe to say, I believe. I've been going to Hollow Scream in Tampa for a number of years, but that's pretty much all I've done. So I'm kind of like, as far as like tiers, I would be like, the tier below him, and then Janae's like as passionate about stuff as we are, but she probably has.
That's very cool.
That's perfect.
That makes me okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just like experience of going to haunts. I mean, you've been to more, I've been to less, Janae's been to less, but we're all like.
Well, wait. I've been to Horror Nights well before both of you.
That's true.
Which is kind of funny.
That's actually true.
But it was.
I thought 28 was your first year.
I mean, it was a year before you ever went.
He went way before that.
Yeah, I went once, but so we'll get into that, but I went in 2012.
Okay, so but here's
Does that even count?
And I
Yeah,
didn't
yes.
have, I only went in 2 houses because it was the most busiest night of the year, and it was fun. We'll get into that more, but like it was.
Okay, well, I've been to Horror Nights more years than Nick.
Okay,
that's true.
But here's the funny part about it. They have both gone to Horror Nights before me, but I have been to Horror Nights more times than both of them.
It's because you have no life.
Is this going to be one of those where everybody just picks on me?
I think it should
No. Who didn't turn off their phone?
That would be Nick.
I do not have that ring for my phone. Oh, is it?
It's on your laptop, bro.
I didn't get a text message.
Oh, I see who it was.
It was Leota.
It was Brian from Orlando. Brian from Orlando.
Don't just leave us alone already.
Yeah, No, we love Brian from Orlando. He actually has helped out on quite a number of projects of ours. So go check him out, and him and Steph, great people. And he actually was kind of rooting for us to do this. So we have a little bit to thank. We have him to thank for a little bit of this. So anyway, let's get back into Halloween Horror Nights and our experiences. Now, this is not just Halloween Horror Nights. We're going to talk about horror movies. We're going to talk about other haunts. We're going to talk about our feature film, The Pumpkin Man. But I did want to start off with one question to pass around the table. Just as an intro, I want to talk about real quick our favorite horror movies, and because I've loved horror movies my whole life. I believe, Nick, you're pretty similar. And then when Janae and I first started dating, I started showing her more and more horror movies. Now, I'm going to start with a caveat. We can't say the same movies, and I'm going to specifically start with Janae. That way, we all three don't have the same answer because it could.
I don't think we have the same answer either. Well, we have a similar answer for
There's
sure.
two ways I could go, and I feel like it's both of your top movies.
Yeah. I'm also wearing the shirt, so it doesn't.
Oh, then no, you're safe.
All right, well, let's start with Janae. Your favorite horror movie of all time?
I probably have to go with the original, The Conjuring.
Oh, okay. That's not. See that is not where I thought that was going to go.
You thought I was going to say Halloween.
I did think you were going to say Halloween.
It's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough for me. But the first horror movie like that I ever really truly saw outside of like the baby ones. I think I had seen Carrie in high school. Didn't really care for it that much. But in college, we did a Conjuring movie marathon. I did it with some friends, and we started at like midnight. So we were watching 1 and 2 until 3 in the morning. And then I ended up saying to my buddy, can I sleep on your couch tonight? Because I do not want to go out in the dark right now. Try to get back to my dorm room on campus. He was like, yeah, it's all yours. And one of his friends actually asked his girlfriend to call him so he could get out of watching the movie because he was so scared. But that was like the first horror movie I think that I had really seen that freaked me out and that I thought was pretty real since it was from the files of Ed and Lorraine. So
that's what makes that one so scary is the fact that it's
parts of it are true.
And the first time you see it, you're like, holy shit, this happened.
Wait, okay.
A lot of it's exaggerated.
I just cussed. What's our policy on cussing? Because that's gonna be hard for me.
We can cuss.
I will try my best not to cuss.
No, it's fine.
It's gonna be tough.
Here's a question that I have because you just said that. Now I'm curious. Who here actually believes in ghosts and supernatural and all that?
That's I don't have a direct answer.
Same.
Because I don't not believe in them, but I'm not like. I think it's fun. I think it's fun to believe in it.
Okay,
that's
so
probably where I'm at. Like,
I'm with you, Nick.
because I like I used to watch Ghost Adventures as a kid all the freaking time.
Beep.
So
oh wait, we have a sound for that.
Well, we can't hear it.
It's the
well, Ghost Adventures was like honestly kind of what turned me on because I used to like have it on all the time on my TV. Like my mom would walk in and my dad like I'd have it on all the time just because. Well, first of all, I like the history of all those places and stuff like that. Like the first 30 minutes of that show is just going into the history of all these haunted places.
Right.
And then the last half is them, investigating. But I think it's fun to believe. That's my answer.
Okay. And Janae, you're same boat.
Yeah, I don't necessarily believe, but I don't necessarily not believe either.
Nick, what do you think?
Some weird shit happens. So.
Yeah, I think.
Nick, what do you think my answer is?
I don't think you believe in ghosts.
Not at all.
Yeah.
No, ghosts aren't real.
No, I don't think you believe in ghosts.
I want to take him on a ghost tour because that stuff.
Have you ever been to St. Augustine?
Yeah, we did it with my dad one time.
They have some
for
good ones
Father's
there.
Day, and it was there's
Funny.
ghosts on yours.
No, we no, but it was a fun haunt. There was a fun.
It was so fake.
Yeah,
The stuff that they did, and at one point, did you go to the jail?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did too.
Yeah.
And at one point, my dad were in one of the cells, and he let out like a ghostly laugh. And all of a sudden, this lady with her 2 kids, and one of the kids was probably like 5 years old.
Oh my god, I love this so much.
Already cried because they heard it from outside the cell. And this lady goes, there's a ghost, and comes running in the cell.
I love that so
and
much.
we're walking out just busting.
Oh my god.
It was a good time.
It's a fun tour, but they dramatize it.
Oh, they do.
Tenfold. Like
they have actors there to,
which just makes it fun. Though. I like
scary.
that.
Yeah, no, don't believe in ghosts.
Have you been on a ghost tour?
No.
Okay, well, Nick.
No, I want to, but
That's our goal for right after spooky season.
St. Augustine is good.
No, please. It doesn't have to be after spooky season. Let's do it now. And then
I don't think
pumpkin
there's
guts
any here.
content. Let's go.
I'll vlog it.
There we go. No, I love horror. I love spooky everything, but
And if
ghosts
you
aren't
say
real.
you don't believe, then you're gonna have some weird, freaky encounter.
nah.
I've had one, not encounter. Well, we're kind of getting sidetracked because we talked.
Yeah, we are getting. Let's get to your favorite horror movie.
Well, I mean,
Nightmare on Elm
the
Street.
camera can see it. I mean, that's like
Nightmare
the
on Elm
first.
Street.
All right, so when did Freddy vs. Jason come out? 2002, I think it was. So I was
03, I think.
So I was like 10 years old, 9 years old. That was like one of the first horror movies that I like remember seeing. And it was, it's not a great movie. It's fun. It's gory, but that's what turned me on. Like, I was like, holy shit, these are like, so that's when I went to the whole history of like Freddy. And so I was, 9, 10 years old I just like went to the rabbit hole, and that's kind of what turned me on. And then obviously I've watched the original Elm Street, and that's like the one that had the biggest like impact on me.
Right.
That movie is just the GOAT. It's the best.
So my top 3 horror films of all time are honestly tied between The Conjuring, Halloween, which Halloween, that's going to end up being my answer.
That would be my answer.
And then the third one is the original Frankenstein with Boris Karloff. Love that film. I think that is the best Universal Classic Monsters movie. But when I talk about the horror movie that had the most impact on me, it's definitely going to be Halloween, because that's the first one I saw, and I watched that, and my life was changed forever. I was like, holy crap, I can make scary shit, and it's going to be awesome. And I have not stopped making scary shit
since.
So that's kind of a quick rundown of us and horror movies and the kind of stuff that we like. So if you hate any of those movies, just turn this video off now.
Probably not the podcast or whatever this is, YouTube podcast,
YouTube, whatever it is,
a Ucast,
yeah. I was looking for a joke, but it wasn't there.
No.
Also, we do have a 4th member here in the studio right now, but you can't see her. She's actually under the table.
We will get a shot of her.
We will get a shot. Her name is Leota. Here, Nick, take my phone. Do a little, or I'll do it like this. So this is, now you're seeing what I'm seeing, and then right down here we got the puppy, Leota. No, there. She is. Look at her. That's the studio dog. So just felt like we had to address that there is a dog present in the room, because the most important part of making anything is to make sure that you always have a dog on set.
This is true.
It's an invaluable asset. She scared away the cicadas when we were recording some scenes of our feature film. So that being said, we are massive Halloween Horror Nights fans. We try to go as much as possible. I have been to HHN 29, 30, and 31. However, when I was growing up, I would always watch the walkthroughs every single year. I think dating back to...
Again, No Life.
You're trying to get divorced, aren't you? We're married, by the way. I would watch the walkthroughs of all the houses every single year, because I just thought it was cool, and I thought Jack the Clown was awesome for years. And then, Janae, which years have you been to?
One more than you.
28.
28 through 31.
Through 31. And then Nick, you said Carnival of Carnage.
Well, so I went back, I jogged my brain. So Carnival of Carnage, I didn't go. But that was the year I saw the website, which is we can go into rabbit hole about the website, and Brian will know what we're talking about there. But Carnival of Carnage had the website with Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, and had the website. From what I remember, had like the doors on the home screen. You could go into each one, and it was like interactive. It was fun. It was effing awesome. So that
nice censor.
It's so much worse. I'm just gonna cuss.
Please.
It's so much worse when you don't. But so that the website turned me on to it, and I was like, holy shit, this is like in Orlando. Like that's kind of like the first year I was like, so that was what 2000 and oh my god 7 I think.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
I was like, I don't know, 15.
Well, let me look. That's why we have these computers.
We have laptops and right in front of us. But yeah, anyway, so that's the first year I like knew of it, I think. And then I realized it was in Orlando.
It was 2007.
I lived in it was 2007. I lived in Tampa area my whole life. So I couldn't make it happen. Go to Horror Nights. Realistically, budget wise, I didn't know anyone in Orlando. So I opted to start going to Halloween pretty much every year. But the first year I went to Halloween Horror Nights was 2012. When I graduated from college, I went with a few friends. We didn't do express passes. We just kind of went and kind of winged it, which is not the way to do it. Well, I'm sure we'll go into that too on how to.
That was Halloween Horror Nights 22.
Yeah, and that didn't have an icon or anything.
What?
The two houses that we did go into were Gothic and Dead End. I wrote that down. And Gothic, honestly, both houses were great. Gothic was sick.
Oh, that was during the Walking Dead era.
Yeah, it was. We didn't go into Walking Dead. So yeah, Gothic, and if you've been to Halloween Horror Nights in 2012, it was a giant cathedral. What are you looking at?
You went through Gothic and what?
Dead End, because they were in the same soundstage.
You mother scratcher, you had Silent Hill, Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare, and Penn and Teller.
And guess how long the lines for those were?
You didn't go in Penn and Teller?
The lines were, I think, 2 hours long.
Okay.
I would have waited 8 hours for Alice Cooper.
I don't know if we might want to cut this, but I was inebriated also.
We can cuss, but we can't talk about alcohol?
Well, I was
underage.
Hey, Nick.
I was underage.
Nick, how old are you now?
I don't want to say it.
I think the statute of limitations has passed, my friend.
That's true. We're freshman year of college. You can imagine what you do as a freshman in college. You go to Horror Nights and you drink alcohol before.
Sacre bleu.
Yeah, so it was a little blurry of a night for the most part, but Gothic and Dead End, I remember being awesome. They were great because I wanted to go to original houses, honestly.
Yeah.
Obviously, The Walking Dead was there, and Silent Hill.
Well, don't get too much into houses because that's
true.
That's the topic of this
2012
episode.
was the first year I went.
And then didn't go back until
Last year.
31. So yes. So that's kind of our experiences. I know there's people that are far more experienced with HHN than we are, but I
have really no experience.
My first. You've been.
I've been. I'm still a novice.
My first experience with Halloween Horror Nights was this video uploaded of Chucky's Insult Emporium.
Oh, yeah.
And I swear if they do not bring that to the queue of the Chucky house, I will lose my mind.
They have to.
They have to.
So what if it was in the stage? I assume Chucky's going to be either where Hellblock was or
I hope
Coven.
they don't. I don't want them to use the Hellblock location again. I really didn't like that location.
I think it's gonna be in that area though. I feel like.
Yeah.
It'll probably be like where Halloween was.
Yeah.
So what if they made use of that stage where all the in front of Rip Ride?
They could use something.
Chucky.
Do something.
It's a stage.
Chucky's Insult Emporium. Make it happen. Or you remember the entrance to Beetlejuice? The queue continued inside, and then Beetlejuice was on top
yeah.
talking to
That
people.
was pretty cool.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to go into our favorite houses of all time at Halloween Horror Nights specifically. There's no limit to like what or the amount that you can say. You can talk about as many as you want. I have 3 that I want to talk about, and y'all already know what one of them is, and Janae, I'm sure you know the one of the other ones. But I'm going to. You want to kick it off?
It doesn't matter.
All right. Well, we'll kick it off with Janae. Talk about some of your favorite houses of all time.
Okay. Well, I only have really 2 that I care to mention. So I do want to establish this. It wasn't until last year that I was not terrified to go through these houses.
This is true.
So, and prior to last year, prior to 2 years ago, I had only been for one night. And my first walk through any house, I'm not really paying attention to a lot of what's in the house. I'm more concerned about, okay, where are they going to jump out at me?
Getting out alive.
Yeah. Basically, survival. That's it. So
because they are known to kill you. In the
Yes,
house.
yeah.
I mean, the survival rate
I don't trust people.
is so low.
I don't trust people. They might touch me. I don't.
People
want
just get
that.
pulled out of the cargo lines.
So I'll go back to my first year at Horror Nights. One that I really liked, and I apologize to my dear friend Brandon. He drugged me through Slaughter Cinema. I really liked that. That year we were with a bunch of girls who definitely didn't want to go
That's
through.
a popular house. People
Yeah,
love that
people
house.
do like that house. But there was a bunch of girls in our group. I think we made it through, which ones did I tell you we went through as a group? Trick or Treat and
Yes,
Stranger Things.
Trick or Treat, Stranger Things.
And then Brandon
Slaughter
and
Cinema.
the two boys that were in the group
That was-
wanted to go through Slaughter Cinema, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go through since the rest of the girls are sitting out. And I mean, obviously we love the movie style or like behind the scenes type stuff. So that house really stood out to me as one of those kind of like in it, multiple 80s slasher scenes. So I enjoyed that. I will say Brandon vividly remembers me running out of that house because at the very end they had like the flap things that you had to walk through.
Oh, yeah.
And I could just see one of the Yetis like towering over me behind it. And I swear every which way I tried to go and like juke him out, he knew. He knew. And so I ended up like running, and I'm so glad I didn't like push the man down because he was definitely on stilts. And Brandon comes after me. Are you okay?
And she's going,
yes. No, I wasn't that bad. I just wanted to get away from him. I don't like when people are blocking my way, clearly.
Better.
So I loved that one. I wish I could experience it. Could have experienced it another time or two, so I could have gotten more of the effect.
Yeah.
But I've seen it on walkthroughs since. And like I said, I really just like the premise. And then I'll briefly mention Icons Captured. I think, were you going to talk about this one?
no, I actually wasn't, so I'm glad you're bringing it up.
That was
I
what year?
think-
What year was that?
30.
It was 30. It was, yeah, not this
The
past
best
year, but
year.
the one before. I'm not a big fan of clowns, so I'm surprised that I loved Jack as much as I did.
Yep, Jack rocks.
He was awesome. But I think what got me through that house the first time last year was those two girls we were with.
It was so funny.
They were so scared.
They were right in front of us, and they were hitting the floor.
Sometimes that makes the house experience better.
It's
You have
better.
some-
It's
as long as
better.
they're not like holding you up the whole time, but like that's seeing other people's reactions is what makes that.
Oh, yeah,
It
100%.
gave me the opportunity to see where every single scare was.
Yep,
So
there you
then
go.
I could go through it the next time and not be scared. So yeah, I really liked that house as well. But my all-time favorite, Dead Man's Pier, Winter Wake.
That's probably on all of our list.
Sure
It's,
it is.
I mean, it's on my list of top houses, but it's not one of the ones I was going to talk about. So, yeah, that house, breathtaking.
It was just such a beautiful house. They nailed the like winter environment, which I didn't know
the
how they were gonna
scale.
do.
Yeah, that was probably the first like haunted house that I went through where I rounded a corner and saw something and went, "Oh my god!"
Do you remember how you felt the first time you turned
Yeah.
the corner and saw the boat?
Yeah.
With the what did she have a name? The
She was
violin lady.
the widow,
The widow?
the captain. So, right?
No,
Well,
yeah.
no, the captain's a widow, but that was
I don't know. I don't recall the
But-
story too much of that one.
But when you first in the corner and you see the boat, it wasn't a life size boat, but they made it feel like a life size giant ship, and it's crashed, and then you feel like droplets of rain come down on you, like, and there's the water below you, a
Insane.
bridge, like, I think the scale of that house was the most impressive thing I've.
It was the
Ever
best.
seen in a
It was the
house?
best reveal in a haunted house I've ever
And it had
seen.
elevation. You go up some stairs,
Yeah.
you go down into like kind of like you feel like you're going down into the
Into the belly of the beast.
yeah. It's
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I'm
incredible.
glad we got to like feel like we were walking through the ship too.
Yeah.
And then the guy that was supposed to be hanging, that was just cool. I hadn't seen.
Oh, the
that
bungee
in
guy?
Yeah.
The first time, my first walkthrough of that house, I hit that perfectly. He came right in my face the first time.
You know what's funny about that guy?
Ryan never got to experience.
Never got
That's
it.
right. Yeah,
Not once.
I was lucky with that one.
And again, I have been through that house more times than both of them, and I never once got that scare.
You actually walked through it with Laura Souls.
I did walk through it with Laura Souls. That was very fun. I was going through the express line, and then we get to the stopping point after you're walking for a bit to catch up with the line, and I just hear somebody talking in front of me. I look up and I'm like, "Are you Laura Souls?" And she's like, "Yes, I am." So that was very cool. If you don't know, she's like one of the head honchos in the creative department of Halloween Horror Nights. So
She's one of the HBICs.
yes, she is. All right, yeah, Dead Man's Pier,
Yeah.
phenomenal house.
10 out of 10.
I wish I could have walked through that about 10 more times.
Yeah, that house was awesome.
It's just so pretty.
It was pretty, and the music was gorgeous.
Everything, the theming, the music,
all of it.
Literally everything about the house is perfect.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't think a nautical style house could
Usually
be
it's
that
not-
scary. Like the deep. What was the one that we went through where
Depths of
Melinda
Fear.
hit the floor? Yeah, that one.
That's not the one she hit the floor on.
It's scarier to think of something deep in the ocean, like creatures that are deep in the ocean that can haunt you. Not so much fishermen.
Yeah.
Who are dead.
Yeah.
And I was never scared in that house, but I just liked looking at everything.
It was more like a kid in a
visually
candy store, like-
appealing.
Yeah.
Just like your
Yeah.
eyes.
Well,
it's,
I had brought this up on Brian and Steph's stream. What I loved about that house was the use of depth. Because when you first walk in, you're in that little village, but you see in the distance, above the immediate village, you see more buildings, and then you see the lighthouse, and then you can look up. And that's what Grim Life Collective always reminds you of when you're going through haunted houses. Remember to look up, because you could miss a lot if you don't look up. And if you're looking up, going through that house, you're gonna
Always see
constantly,
the lighthouse.
yeah, you're always gonna see the lighthouse. So yeah, that house, 10 out of 10.
it won the house of the year for sure, right?
No, Legends did.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Another great house, Legends Collide.
Yeah.
Fantastic
I think
house.
Dead Man's Pier got
Dead
robbed.
Man's probably. I mean, they're both incredible because they both had the scale. I think that's.
I think they were judging it more based off of scares, and
That one was scarier.
truthfully, like you
Oh, no,
you
for
can't
sure.
deny that Dead Man's Pier was not a very scary
No.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
It was scary to some people.
just not
me.
us.
The scare,
I passed the wimp test on that one.
Good job.
the mirror scare where it's the.
That was a great scare.
That one was awesome. They've done that before, but that one hit perfectly because it was just the guy just like.
Yeah.
Like behind the it started. With
Oh, the scrim you're talking about? Yeah.
If you liked that one,
I thought
I'm sure Ryan's gonna mention the other one that you would have. Did he go through that one?
Which one?
Puppet.
No.
Is that on your list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about that. So those are your favorite houses of all time?
Yeah, I kind of snuck Icons Captured in there, but
Oh, that's fine. I have 3 that I'm gonna
I
talk about.
couldn't not mention it.
I have a big
Yeah.
list. I'm not gonna talk about all of them, but
Wow. You're just
Well,
trying
I
to
have a-
hog all the time.
so for the next 30 minutes, I'm gonna go into.
Per house.
I have a couple that I've been in, and then I have a couple that I've probably watched the YouTube walkthrough more times than I'd be willing to admit. And
Don't even get started.
one of them was Poltergeist, which I think was. Did you go? It was 28, I think.
No, she didn't get to go
No.
through that one, but I
That
showed
house.
her. Yeah, I showed her the facade of that.
Yeah, I wish, but I also didn't really know that movie
Yeah, no.
back then.
Yeah.
I will say, back then, I didn't even know Trick or Treat was a movie. The guys convinced the girls that it was a nice house because how scary could trick or treating be?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the girls were not happy we went through that. It was at like 2 a.m. and there was a 5-minute wait right before the gates were about to close. So,
How scary could that be?
so we walked through that one alone.
Man, yeah, oh my God, Poltergeist. That's on my list just because I've watched that YouTube walkthrough so many times. You walk in through.
Trust me, I think I've watched a walkthrough of a different house
few
far
times.
more times than you've watched.
But you walk in underground, underneath the house, into the burial grounds, and that's where you start the house, and then you eventually get into the house. It's incredible. But so I haven't been that one, but I feel like I should mention it because I'm sure a lot of people like that. Dead Man's Pier is on the list of houses that I've been in. We talked about that, and this one's pretty obvious for me. Halloween last year.
Oh, did you like that house?
I might have liked it.
I couldn't tell.
Oh, I didn't even mention that one. That one was good.
Halloween was like the best way I describe it is like comfort food. Like every time we went every night.
We had to go through it.
You have to go through it. It wasn't. I wouldn't. I mean, for some people, they may think it's some good scares, but like for me, it was more of like I got to walk through the movie that I've watched.
Now they did feature Halloween in, I believe, 2014.
It was Halloween 4, wasn't it?
No,
No,
it was
they
the
were the
original.
original.
In 2014, they did.
Because they had the car scene.
Yeah, so there were some things that were in that house that weren't in this one, and I like my one criticism of the 2022 Halloween house is that it starts with the Smith Grove stuff and then it cuts right to the end of the movie, and that's like there's a whole there's way more scenes in there that they could have incorporated, which
sure.
I thought was a bit of a shame, but I do still love that
I
house.
I think Hollywood did a Halloween house that was pretty. I can't remember.
Hollywood's done a few. They've done Halloween 4. I know. I believe at one point we had Halloween 2. That it's a pretty popular IP.
I like this one just because it was the original movie.
Yeah.
And I got to live through some of the scenes, and the shot of the stairs with Mikey. It's not even an actor. It's just a
figure.
a figure at the top of the stairs.
It's a decoy.
Great use.
It's honestly a decoy.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at the stairs, and then to your left there's the door where the real Mikey comes out.
Phenomenal use of misdirection.
That's why Legends was so scary, is because misdirection. You look right, and then obviously
they were using mirrors too, so like you would think that you're looking at one thing and it's in a completely different location, and it just doesn't prepare you like that. Legends was a very good use of misdirection.
I mean, Dead Man's and Halloween were my two favorites last year. Weekend surprised me. The Weekend house surprised me. I did not expect to like it as much as I did.
I didn't expect to boogie so much through that house, but
Yeah,
you can't. You're just in there and you're feeling it. You're going,
It turned me on to the Weekend's music. I was very
I thought
turned on.
I thought you were gonna just say it turned me on.
Walking through the house turned me on.
He's been using that phrase this whole episode.
Yeah.
The Weekend's music is now on my playlist.
Yeah,
And it
we
wasn't
have
before.
we have Dawn FM and After Hours on vinyl now because
I mean, now we just relate it to Halloween, though.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is for me, too.
Yeah,
And then
100%.
Gothic's on my list, too, which is the one that I actually remember from.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's, it's like a giant Gothic cathedral. There's gargoyles flying. Like, that's the first time I ever saw a house that has, that uses, scares above you, like legitimately, that
Right.
gargoyles, flying above you and all that stuff. That house was incredible. I'll mention a few others just for Body Collectors. I know is a big popular one with the HHN community. I watched that YouTube walkthrough so many times. That house looked legit scary. I'll say that.
Yeah.
The visuals were incredible. I worked on Hill House and Stranger Things because I love
Hill House
seeing those.
was cool.
I hate that I didn't get to go through that one.
Yeah.
I know. You and I both only went once, right?
I didn't go.
He didn't go at all.
I didn't go that year.
He didn't go HHN 30.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It was just last year.
Yeah.
I only went through once. Ryan maybe got through 3, 4.
Twice.
I
Really?
felt.
I only did it twice.
The
I feel
FOMO.
like I missed some stuff only walking through it once. But we didn't have Express that year,
yeah.
so
Hill House was the only house that I think I've ever been through, not just HHN, but just in general, that I don't get super scared in haunted houses, but Hill House had a moment where it preyed on my absolute biggest fear, which is just 100% pitch black darkness. There were 2 hallways and that were completely pitch black, and at one point they had a mannequin of Nell in the ceiling and it would light up. That didn't scare me. When the light shut off, that's when I was scared. I can't do that.
I felt the FOMO on that house. I wanted to go through that so bad.
Yeah, it was a good house.
That's pretty. I mean, I think my list is pretty much Halloween, Dead Man's, and Gothic. Those are my 3 that I've been in that I probably like the best.
All right. Well, that just leaves this guy.
Which I wonder what you're going to talk about.
All right. So the first one I'm going to talk about is
I'm
from.
surprised there's more than one.
There's 3.
I know.
The first one I want to talk about is from HHN 29, which was Yeti, Terror on the Yukon.
People love that one.
That house rocked. That was one of those houses that before we even left our house, because we only went one night that year, so I had no idea what to expect. But as we were leaving our house, I was like, that's the one. That's the one that I want to experience this year. It sounds so cool. And yeah, that house was awesome. The Yetis were cool. The sets were cool. They had Yetis on platforms above you. And Janae had mentioned earlier, our friend hit the ground. And how tall is she?
6'3".
She's 6'3", and so normally, she probably feels a lot taller than all of the scare actors, so she can just be like, "Ha, nerd." But
I don't think that's how she approached any of the scare actors.
But one of the Yetis above reached down at her, and she just hit the ground. It was so funny. That's one of my favorite Horror Nights memories, was just
Those are
seeing
moments you
somebody.
don't forget.
Yeah, just seeing somebody cripple onto the ground was great. My second that I want to talk about, Puppet Theater, Captive Audience. That house was just so cool. I mean, the scale of the house, and I think that's partially why I was kind of disappointed with Descendants of Destruction, was because, yeah, like the sets were cool in Descendants, but like the use of space and how big they made that house feel, with
they put a theater in.
yeah, with Puppet Theater, like the actual theater room was massive. Like it looked huge.
What was that in? Was that in a tent? Or
Yeah, that was where Descendants was.
Oh yeah.
And I just, there's so much, and the atmosphere of that house was very interesting and unique, and there was just so much I liked about that house. And there's one scare in particular, the mirror scare. Oh my, the most genius scare I think I've ever seen. They had a hole in the wall, and the hole was where a mirror is supposed to be, and they had like a little makeup table in front of it, and they had a duplicate made on the other side of the wall, so you think that you're looking at a mirror, and then somebody pops through with a knife, and it was so cool.
I have to watch it right now.
Yeah,
It's clever.
Yeah, it's very clever. It's very well done.
Let's say with the smoke pouring out of it.
But my favorite house of all time.
Not.
Janae hated this house. I think if she went through it now, she'd be fine. But at the time, she could not stomach this house. But it's Wicked Growth, Realm of the Pumpkin.
I'm probably the only person on this planet that did not like that house.
Probably. That house was phenomenal. That house, again, made great use of of scale. They put an entire farmhouse and barn in there, and I'm such a sucker for classic Halloween. Being able to walk through a house that was just everything that I love from my childhood when it comes to Halloween, I thought was great. And Nick, you've watched walkthroughs of Wicked Growth, right?
Many times.
So what are your thoughts on it?
I think it needed more pumpkins.
I agree. You can't have too many.
No, that's a house that I felt the FOMO as well. I wish I could have gone to that house. That whole year, I kind of felt the FOMO.
Yeah. 30 has been my favorite year so far.
It's not like you didn't have friends to stay with.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true. I don't know. What was my excuse?
He didn't like us.
I don't think I liked you.
Yeah, he kind of hated us.
Really our friends.
Yeah, he was like, these guys
way
suck.
too cool. I was a biggest
Oh, you were
just the
way
most
too
badass
cool.
things.
You were so cool.
Riding around my motorcycle. And
Yeah,
I'm just the coolest person.
you really are. You're just so cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, you had a motorcycle?
He's joking.
I'm joking. Leather jacket.
That I didn't know.
Oh yeah, leather jacket and all.
The mirror scare on Puppet Theater.
Puppet Theater. Yeah, it's
That's-
fantastic.
This house looks sick.
Yeah.
No, Wicked Growth was an incredible house. I really am jealous.
And it gave us the Pumpkin Lord.
See, he didn't scare me. He was my favorite part of that house.
Yeah, because you knew it was over. No, actually, because then the last pumpkin guy always got you.
Who?
There was one. So there was the Pumpkin Lord, and then you round a corner, and then there's one right here, and then you go to exit, and there's another one right there.
Oh.
And they went.
I felt like they targeted me every time I went through that house.
And I always told Janae, because I play the Pumpkin Man, I'm just like, it's just me.
Yeah, but they can target you.
Because I'm one of them.
I think they target girls. I think
They do.
They do, 100%.
So annoying.
It is annoying. Well,
I'm glad you agree.
yeah, because you hated my favorite house because they couldn't leave you alone.
The real question is, and I'm the only one that can answer this, who belongs up front, the guy or the girl? See, I think Ryan belongs up front because then I can sacrifice him.
That's true.
I want to be in the front.
I know you do, so it works out for both of us.
Well, last year you had best both worlds. You
I
had,
know.
You had two bodyguards on both sides of you.
You were
Well, now-
you were a great caboose.
This
I'm
year,
also 6'1", so I take most of the
This year it's going to be a sandwich, I'm sure, because I assume Lauren will be behind Janae.
Yeah. She'll need to have some bodyguards around her.
Yeah, have some bodyguards. See, we got it. I take the front. You clear our 6.
I'm in the booth. Okay.
Yep. We just
Well, plus no one wants to be behind you because you're so tall.
That's also very true.
yes. Yeah, I don't want to
So
be.
sorry for anyone who was behind me last year.
In all future years.
Yeah, I don't ever want to be behind Nick because then I just feel like I can't see anything. All right, well, those are our favorite houses. Unless anybody else has anything else they want to add. Okay,
Well, hang on. We only have 2 announcements right now.
Yes.
But is anyone feeling like either of those are going to be their favorite house? I know it's too early to tell.
I don't.
Or based on rumors.
For me, I absolutely do not think either of those houses is going to be my favorite this year. I know that's different for you.
I am a Last of Us game player. It's my favorite single player game of all time.
Alien Isolation's better. Excuse me.
Different episode we'll go into that. Last of Us is probably going to be my favorite house. The game is something that holds a very special place in my heart.
I think it'll be a cool house.
I think it will be.
It'll be a phenomenal house.
I think whoever is leading this house has probably been a game player or know of the game, which I hope. They have to. I'm sure they are. I think they're going to stay true to it. I think they're going to do it right. It'll probably be my favorite house. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
What about you?
I'm sure I'll enjoy both of them, but if you look at my last 2 years of favorites, it's been originals. I'm excited to see how they try to top last year with some of the originals they may have in store this year.
I think I'm always going to prefer originals versus IPs. That's just when I think of haunted houses, because I grew up where these events did not happen. I grew up in Indiana, so they didn't have IPs. So when I think of haunted houses, I think of originals.
That's why I was a fan of Hollow Scream in Tampa for all those years, because they didn't have IPs. They were all, I mean, they had some. They were hit or miss. They had some great houses. They had some houses that were too much space, no actors.
Right.
But they were all originals, and I just like seeing original ideas. It's I like seeing the creativity of those people. And
it's more special.
For sure.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's cool walking through Halloween.
Which is
absolutely love that house. Like I could have spent all night between Dead Man's and Halloween.
Right.
But if Stranger Things, since it's been rumored to come back this year, that would be my preferred of. If they'd only do 3 IPs, that would be the one I'm most excited about IP wise.
This should be the best. I haven't been in the first 2 Stranger Things houses, but this should be the best.
This one should be the best.
This season 4 was horror.
Yeah.
Of Stranger Things. Season 1, 2, and 3 had horror elements.
It was sci-fi horror.
It was sci-fi horror.
You could see this, like Stranger Things were kind of the fun houses the last 2 times it came to the event. I could see this one being
actually scary. Yeah.
For people who aren't prepared.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree.
Which is why I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
If it comes.
Overall, with all the rumors that we're hearing, I'm excited for the IPs, but they're not the thing that I think will end up being my favorite house because, when you have an IP, you're kind of shackled to the template of whatever you're adapting into a haunted house. And, if you have this cool setup and all of a sudden you get this crazy idea to do something different, you can't because, and I'm talking more from the creative side of things because, that's how what I go to haunted houses for. So I just prefer to see the creative team go insane with the stuff that they make. And I'm just excited to see what comes up next. So I think that's that's it.
As of now, we're recording this on the 24th of June. There has been 2 announcements. We're expecting one next week.
I certainly hope there's one next week. We'll see what they announce. If I had to guess, it'll be Universal Monsters. It's an easy one like that.
Phantom?
I hope if it's Phantom.
Isn't that the rumor though?
It's
something in Paris.
Yeah, the last spec map was like Monsters in Paris or something.
That's pretty cool.
Which would allude to
Phantom and possibly Hunchback, is what I've heard as well. So we'll see. But I think that's going to wrap up the first episode of Pumpkin Guts. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode. And if you have, make sure to like and subscribe, and keep following us, because we have a bunch of stuff coming up with our feature film, The Pumpkin Man. So with that being said, I think we're going to sign off for now, and catch you in the next one.